Powerful gifts are the ones you never asked for but were born with. Some men chase power, influence, and recognition, believing they must earn their place in the world. But Sigma males, they enter this life already carrying something rare, something untouchable. Their strength isn't given to them by society, it's wired into their very existence. They don't need permission to be who they are, and they don't seek validation for the way they move. They just know. Power. The very fire they thought would consume you has become your weapon, your strength. They thought you'd be defeated by their chaos, but all you did was feed off it, evolving and expanding while they remained trapped in their own limitations. They forgot that you're not like them. You don't choke on smoke. You breathe it in and you exhale fire, pure, untouchable, unstoppable. You're the storm they never saw coming. And now, as they try to catch their breath, they're left to wonder, how did you become the force that turned their own attacks into your greatest victory? Number 10, you made peace with your demons, and now they fight for you. You didn't run from your demons. You didn't try to bury them or hide from them like so many others do. Instead, you stared them down, faced the darkest parts of yourself, and came out the other side with an understanding no one else has. You didn't just survive the battles within. You mastered them. You made peace with the chaos, the pain, the scars. And now those demons that once threatened to destroy you, they fight for you. They've become your greatest allies, the very thing that gives you strength, not weakness. The moments that once broke you have been transformed into the fuel that drives you. You didn't let the things that hurt you define you. You redefined them. Every heartbreak, every failure, every betrayal, they're all pieces of the foundation you've built your power on. What others might see as flaws, you see as your greatest assets. And now those broken pieces are what keep you whole. You're not pure, not by their standards, and you never wanted to be. Purity is an illusion, a fantasy that keeps people stuck in the idea of perfection. But you know power comes from the real, the messy, the flawed. You don't hide from your darkness. Embrace it. You've taken everything that once threatened to tear you apart and turned it into a weapon, an unstoppable force that pushes you forward, that protects you, that keeps you moving when the world tries to hold you back. Where others see damage, you see strength. Where they see weakness, you see opportunity. You've weaponized your wounds, turned your scars into armor, and now nothing can touch you. You're not just powerful because you've overcome, it's because you've made every battle, every tear, every dark moment part of the force that drives you. You've become untouchable, not in spite of your demons, but because you've made them your greatest allies. Number 11, you're not playing God, you just stopped letting people play you. They always thought you were passive, didn't they? They assumed you were weak because you didn't seek the spotlight or demand attention. But what they missed is that you've never been passive. You've been watching, you've been observing, and now you've had enough. You're not trying to be a god, but you sure as hell stopped letting them treat you like their plaything. You stopped letting people manipulate, control, or use you to build their own little kingdoms. You stopped bending to their comfort, their expectations, their agendas. You were never meant to fit into their neat little boxes. You've always been the storm that disrupted the calm they so desperately cling to. They've been worshiping comfort, pretending that settling was enough to get by. But you're the storm that reveals how fragile their world really is, how fake their security is, how hollow their promises have always been. They want peace. They want stability. But the truth is, their peace has always been a facade, built on controlling others and keeping things in line. And you're not about the fake calm. You're about real change, real transformation. You didn't come to play their game. You came to break the rules they wrote. You came to shake everything up and expose the truth behind the mask. They called you trouble. They labeled you as a threat because they couldn't control you. But all you did was stop pretending their way of living the only way. You became the storm they feared, the force that ripped through the lies they built their lives on. You didn't play God. You just refused to let them play you anymore. Now they're left scrambling, watching the comfort they once relied on crumble, because you've shown them that comfort isn't truth. And now, everything they believed in feels like a lie. Number 12. You don't glow up. You go dark and return with a crown forged in silence. You don't need the spotlight to shine. You don't need applause, validation, or constant recognition to know your worth. While others chase fame and attention, you slip into the shadows, focusing on what truly matters: your growth, your evolution, your strength. You go dark, not because you're hiding, but because you're preparing. You're quietly building something powerful, something undeniable. While they're out there seeking the world's approval, you're refining yourself, working in silence, and letting your actions speak louder than any words ever could. And when you finally reemerge, it's not with empty, it's with a crown through struggle, patience, and a refusal to break. You've never been about the glow-up. That's the illusion of instant success. You've been about the long, slow burn of transformation, where the heat and pressure make you into something unbreakable. You've been in the darkness, in the space where others are too afraid to venture. That's where you found your power, not in the validation, but in the silence. The world doesn't get to dictate your worth. You do. And when you return, they won't recognize you. Not because you've changed, but because you've grown into the person they never expected. There's a massive difference between being seen and being known. Anyone can be seen. All it takes is a moment in the spotlight, a flash of attention. But being known, that's different. Being known is about depth. It's about substance. It's about earning respect through actions, through the quiet grind that no one else can see, and through the moments when you're alone and the world is asleep. You chose to be known, not by their standards, but by your own. And that terrifies them. Because now, when they look at you, they see someone who has a power they can't touch, a power that doesn't need to be loud to be heard. Number 13. They tried to cancel you, not realizing you're self-published. They thought they could erase you. They thought their words, their opinions, and their rejection would be the final chapter of your story. They threw their accusations, their criticisms, their attempts to cancel you, as if they held the power to dictate your worth. What they didn't understand, what they still don't understand, is that you were never waiting for their approval to begin with. You weren't created by their validation, and you sure as hell aren't going to be destroyed by their rejection. You're self-published. Your origin story doesn't come from their endorsement or their permission. You wrote your narrative long before they ever had a chance to add their. You built yourself from the inside out, not based on what they thought of you, but on what you believed you could become. They didn't make you. They can't break you. Their attempts to cancel you are nothing more than a footnote in your journey. And what they didn't see is that you thrive when they try to bury you, because it only proves one thing: your power was never in their hands. It's always been yours. When they rejected you, they thought they were closing a door, but they didn't realize they were only opening a new path. Their rejection is nothing more than fuel for your fire, a reminder that the people who never saw your worth are irrelevant to the story you're in. They can't see your future because they never understood your purpose. And that's why their attempts to cancel you only make you more unstoppable. Their rejection is simply a footnote in a book you're still writing, one that's destined to be more successful, more meaningful, and more impactful than anything they ever imagined. Number 14, you are proof that resilience isn't loud, it's surgical. While they scream for attention, desperate for validation and approval, you were quietly crafting something far more powerful. Your resilience isn't about being loud. It isn't about drawing eyes to your struggle, making sure everyone sees how hard you're fighting. Real resilience is surgical. It's precise. It's deliberate. You didn't need a loud announcement or a crowd cheering you on. You simply worked with laser focus, refining yourself, refining your plans, and setting your foundation in the shadows. You built your empire piece by piece, all while they were too busy chasing applause. And now they want in. They want your blueprint. They want to know how you did it. But here's the truth. You're not just the creator of what they see. You're the storm that makes it all possible. They never saw the quiet battles, the sacrifices, the late nights, the moments when it was just you and your vision. They were too focused on their noise, too distracted by the illusion of success that they never noticed the real work happening behind the scenes. While they were looking for shortcuts, you were mastering every detail, understanding every angle, and planting seeds that would grow into something they could never replicate. Now, They want to know your secrets, but they can't handle what they're asking for. The blueprint isn't just a map, it's a mindset. It's about the quiet determination, the unwavering belief that what you're building doesn't need to be validated by anyone else. You're the architect and the storm. You're not just the mastermind behind your success, you're the force that makes it unstoppable. You didn't just build an empire, you became the force of nature that propels it forward, unmovable, untouchable, relentless. They can try to replicate your steps, but they'll never understand the power behind them. You didn't need the spotlight to create your success, and now that you've got it, you're not here to share the secret. You're here building and to show them that true resilience isn't loud, it's surgical, and it leaves an imprint no one can erase. In the end, you are the living proof that greatness doesn't need to scream to be heard. You've never waited for permission, never waited for the world to give you a stage. You carved your own path in silence, with focus, with precision, and with the kind of resilience that doesn't require applause. The storms they tried to send your way only made you stronger, more unstoppable. Your crown wasn't handed to you. It was forged in moments they'll never understand, in the shadows they thought you couldn't thrive in. And now, as they watch you rise, scrambling to catch up with the force of your presence, they finally realize something that scares them. Your power was never dependent on their validation, and your story was never theirs to write. You weren't just a participant in the game. You changed the rules. You became the architect and the storm, the master and the force. They can keep chasing their approval, keep worshiping comfort, and keep living for the applause. But you've learned the secret. The true power lies in not needing any of it. You don't need their acceptance. You don't need their recognition. You just need to keep building, keep growing, keep exhaling fire. Because in the end, it's not the noise of the crowd that defines you. It's the quiet power you exude in the spaces they never dared to explore. And that right there is the ultimate victory. You are untouchable. You are unstoppable. And this is only the beginning. If you felt the power in these words, if you felt that fire ignite in